All right, so let me get the other platforms on here real quick, and we're going to get started. Hold on a second. All right, y'all. We here again on a news update on Maduro. What's going on with him at his first appearance in federal court today. They actually flew him in a helicopter. But further ado, let's get started.
Definitely. Hi, everyone. I'm Dana Perino, along with Emily Campagno, Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. A defiant dictator having his day in court ousted Venezuelan strongman Nicolas Maduro, claiming that he was kidnapped, and he and his wife plead not guilty to a sweeping list of drug trafficking and weapons charges. Maduro telling the judge, quote, "I am innocent. I am not guilty. I am a decent man. I am still president of my country." All of this comes after a breathtaking dead-of-night capture at the hands of the U.S. military. President Trump defending the move to arrest Maduro.
What really played is the fact that he sent millions of people into our country from prisons and from mental institutions and drug dealers and every drug addict in that country, in his country, was sent into our country. The fact that he sent drugs into our country, we're stopping it rapidly.
So what comes next for Venezuela? Interim President Delcy Rodriguez is now vowing to cooperate with Washington after President Trump warned that she could suffer a fate worse than Maduro if Caracas does not work with his team. The goal? Likely access to Venezuela's vast oil reserves after U.S. companies were pushed out decades ago.
Don't ask me who's in charge, because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge. We're going to have the big oil companies go in. They're going to fix the infrastructure. They're going to invest money. We're not going to invest anything. We're going to just take care of the country. We need total access. We need access to the oil and to other things in their country that allow us to rebuild their country.
And Happy New Year, everybody. We get right back to it. Jesse, maybe start with you on just the overall news.
He's right. No, he's right about that, y'all. No, like, they're doing terrible. Inflation's terrible. Their money is worthless. I mean, you might as well go ahead and put it on fire, pretty much. But I think I think it's time, and I think Venezuelans need reassurance that everything's going to be okay and they're going to be safe. I think that's a lot of the problem right now. It's like everybody is freaking out and scared that we're going to invade and start, I don't know, doing really harm to everybody. But really, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get all the dictators and scumbags up out of there. But hopefully they have a good regime change. Well, should I not say regime change, but good good thing about the president or the new president. I hope that like she works with the United States and gives back what is rightfully ours. But anyway.
The shock and awe of it.
Sure. Audacious, Dana. First, big props to Delta Force. These guys go in on Night Stalkers in the dead of night, take on enemy fire, land, blowtorch the doors off this fortress, kill all of these Cuban bodyguards, and then capture this tyrant and his wife right as they were about to get into this steel safe house. They cuff them, they bring them home. Absolutely incredible when you think about what had gone wrong. You could have had a Mogadishu situation under Clinton. You could have had hostages like they did in Iran under Jimmy Carter, but this was a perfect operation. You know what it reminds me of? My back surgery. Donald Trump's like my surgeon. He's elegant. and he's precise. And he went in there with the perfect extraction. You get this guy out of here. But Dana, this is not regime change. This is just trying to change the regime's behavior. Remember, the regime is still intact. So you have this vice president who we're going to have to deal with. Now, I don't know whether she is an ideologue, a thief, a nationalist. We're about to find out.
Might be our asset.
She could be. We don't know yet, but time will tell. But when Trump says we're going to run the country, what he means is we have a naval blockade, so we control the cash flow. We know what goes in, what goes out. So we know who gets paid. And if we don't want them to get paid, we can decide that. Or we can send in more commandos or more missiles, depending on people, if they behave or not. So what does behaving look like? That's the big question. They have to stop doing business with our enemies, the cartels, the communists, and Hezbollah. They have to stop pouring narcotics and migrants into our country. And they have to give us back our oil rights, which they stole. And judges have agreed these have been stolen from us. So if you have it's basically like the Spanish Saudi Arabia. They have more oil under the ground than the Saudis do. So you get the Western companies back in there, you get it back online. And what does that do? It makes Venezuela more prosperous, America more prosperous, keeps energy prices low, which starves the Putin war machine, keeps inflation down, which is good for the economy. And it isolates the Iranians and it makes us the seller of oil to China. Now, we might not have elections for quite some time. We might have to bribe a lot of people in Venezuela, but I'd rather have them on our payroll than have them on the payroll of the cartels and the communists, which is why we'll be going down and broadcasting all next week live from Caracas.
I can't wait.
Johnny will be on the streets, getting the pulse of the people, doing man on the street, and that is something everybody will look forward to.
I can't wait to see the movie clips he pulls.
That's right.
That will go with
in
it.
Espanol.
Harold, one thing that was interesting was the uniform amongst Republicans and Democrats in Florida on this action.
Without question. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody, and it's good to be with everybody around the table. I was pleased to see that too, DP, and I was expecting also some pushback from some about whether or not Congress was advised or Congress was consulted or even Congress was communicated with. But we'll come to that in a little bit. I agree with Jesse. The execution of this mission, and we think about some of the nonsensical things that some say about how DEI has ruined our military. Our military has done Operation Midnight Hammer, and they've done this as well as other things since President Trump has been in office flawlessly. And this is another example of it. I applaud Jay Clayton, the Southern District, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District here, who obviously understands as he.
I just needed to pause it right there. I hat off to all of the armed forces, men and women, and our brave military. Hats off to y'all. Y'all got a really hard job every day, trying to protect our freedom and our rights. I know sometimes it's a struggle out there, and sometimes people don't give you the gratitude that y'all need, but we really thank y'all for what y'all do.
Shared this morning how serious this case is, how prepared they have to be, and equally important, I think that Emily would agree, our system of law declares that you're presumed innocent until proven guilty, and the U.S. Attorney said that this morning. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky for me. I don't know exactly what the primary motive was for going in and getting Maduro, who is a bad guy. I understand why the Florida congressional delegation celebrated. There's a former member of the Tennessee delegation sitting on this table here who celebrated as well. But when the president said that, and I heard Mr. Rubio say we're going after a narco-terrorist, which we should have, and which we have, and I think that others have also said we need to meet these drug dealers where they are, and this guy is a drug dealer. And I believe that the U.S. Attorney's Office here will bring justice. The question is, are we there for the narco issue, or are we there because they have mismanaged the production of their natural resources? And one will say both. I give President Trump a lot of credit. He just basically said it out loud, said the quiet part out loud, said we're there also to ensure that they produce oil in a way that is conducive and consistent with the kind of reserves that they have. And I wonder aloud if that's what the country wants. President Trump a few weeks ago delivered a national televised address to talk about some of his economic accomplishments. If he's watching us this evening, I would encourage him to give another address to tell us exactly what we're hoping to do, what we're planning to do, and how long he thinks it may take us to do the things he wants us to do there. Because I happen to believe that focusing on our own hemisphere is something we should be doing. I've been saying since I've been on this show that this should be a priority of the administration. But if the priority is not catalyzing all of this growth and rule of law and governance in these countries to help those countries survive and help those countries flourish so they won't come to our country, but it's to help our oil companies and us make more money, I think the country